Southmead is a priority for SARI, but victims of racism and racist violence contact the charity from other areas of Bristol too. I travel to one of them, a housing estate called St Anne's. It's 5 miles from Southmead. 3 months earlier, Sri Lankan shop workers were targeted by racist thugs who shouted "Paki slaves" before this happened. Stephen Manell, Ashley Stockham, and a third man are all convicted of the attack. Within minutes of arriving in St Anne's, I wish I hadn't.
I just didn't think that humans could be like that. I wasn't doing anything, I was just walking down the street. And you know, they wanted to hurt me. I saw in front of me, to my right, a whole gang of young people. I felt it before I heard it, but I basically felt on my foot a kind of sharp pain, and then I heard glass crash to the floor in front of me.
Don't look at me, mate, you want me?
Then I turned around and again I heard glass being thrown just by my foot again, hit really hard.
It's the girl in the white t-shirt who tells me to get out of the estate. She's 17-year-old Kelly Bray Warner. A few minutes later, I see her again, outside the shop where the racist attack happened. She's captured on CCTV with a gang of youths. I'm on the other side of the road, just out of shot.
Then I turned around, turned my back on them, and just to the left of me, a stone maybe about that big came whizzing past my head.
It's Kelly Bray Warner who hurls the first stone. Another teenager joins in. The pair throw 5 stones at me. Luckily, I'm not hit. If I lived in Bristol for real, being pelted with glass and stones would be more than enough to send me to SARI seeking help. But the charity says the scope of its work is under threat after failing to win essential funding from the Equality and Human Rights Commission, or EHRC, headed by Trevor Phillips.
Dealing with hate crime, racially motivated hate crime, and supporting many, many local people in our region to overcome inequalities because they're from a black and minority ethnic community. I cannot believe that isn't one of their priorities.
The EHRC says SARI failed to supply enough detail about their plans and says it receives far more requests for funding than it can meet. Professor Kay Hampton recently resigned her post as an EHRC commissioner. She claims that both the watchdog and its leader, Trevor Phillips, who said having a neighbour of a different race isn't an issue anymore, are out of touch.
I think if Trevor gets down to the grassroots to meet the real people who are suffering from racism, he probably will change his attitude. A day in the life of somebody ordinary, I think. I mean, it's all very well talking about it's not a problem anymore. In his world, it's probably not a problem. He's made it. Maybe sometimes one needs to talk to people who can't understand why they need to be British, because Britishness to them symbolizes something so painful and so horrible on a daily basis. That story maybe would really get home to people and make them understand why it's not a joke to be called a Paki.
Trevor Phillips declined to give me an interview. Instead, the EHRC told us the comments he made were based on evidence from 2 Mori polls for the EHRC, which it claims show the majority of British people are increasingly at ease with racial diversity. It says Of course, some individuals do continue to suffer appalling racism, and work on race is a priority for the Commission, which uses legal action, formal inquiries and funding to tackle racism. Back in Southmead, after 3 weeks undercover, Amal and I have very different experiences to report. He's been called Paki and Taliban, but reaction to him is often difficult to predict.
Right, boss? Right.
Me, I'm bullied and abused just about every time I step outside the door. Sometimes I don't get the muttered insults and snide comments behind my back completely on camera. Other times I do, with the help of a camera hidden in the back of my jacket. And it's the Southmead kids and their attitude to race which is most revealing. As soon as we move to the estate, race dominates the way they react to us, from teenagers to younger children.
I could see two boys, one blonde-haired kid on a bike and a brown-haired boy walking on the road alongside him. Now, as we pass, the kid on the bike says hello to me in a really snide way, and as I turn around to look at them, coming at me is a can of Coke. The brown-haired kid had thrown a can of Coke at my face, with splashes of Coke on my face itself. Then, as I turned to stare at them...
Go away! March that way!
It's depressing. There's so little to smile about.
How old are you?
25.
Oh, I was close. You're not that old. Got a boyfriend? Yeah, you have. You're very beautiful for one. You're a beautiful lady. You are.
I guess it just shows that, largely the younger kids, sort of around 7, 8 and under, are actually, they generally are quite friendly. They do smile. Often they're very curious.
But when I meet the Coke can wielding kid again, it's not curiosity on his mind.
Oh!
That's a balloon filled with water he smashes into the back of my head, and it hurts.
I'm gonna get you!
But it's some of the older residents I really worry about, and 2 of them hang out at the bottom of our road.
Come on, move.
There. Can you solve those glasses, bud? Spexy was you should went to. Hey! Sure, Spexy was.
Look! Oh! I'm gonna cut you up. Like a goldfish.
Honey puppy! Wait, look, babe! Look!
I mean, I was shocked. I've never been mooned at.
That will go on right ass.
He pulled his pants down and showed me his backside. I mean, I didn't know where to look. I was just like, oh my god. It's extremely difficult to not be wanted on the streets that you live on, and actually just to be picked on. It's not a nice feeling. And seriously, there's nothing wrong with my glasses, I don't think.
Having revealed more than just their racism, I want to find out who they are. Searching social networking sites, I discover that the white arse belongs to Sean Ganderton. I can't name the other one because of an ongoing police investigation.